Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast. I'm your co-host Arun Belur, and joining me today all the way from Mumbai, India is Amitava Deb. Hi Amitava, welcome back to our
Hi,
podcast. How
hi,
are you?
Arun. I'm good. Thank you. Good evening.
Good to see you again.
Yes, I'm in Mumbai this week. I'll be back to Sydney very soon, but I hear it's very, very hot there.
Yeah, today was in the high 30s, very hot.
And there is I think, fire alert or
Um,
some kind of warning.
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
So today we're going to be talking about how to choose the right occupation when you're filing your
Mm-hmm.
application
Yes,
for a PR.
yes, that's
So
correct.
why is it so important to make sure
Hmm.
that you pick the right occupation? Isn't your
Why do you think it
experience
is?
isn't your experience and your academic credentials enough?
Why do you think it is not important?
Well, because I have the opinion that if you have an academic qualifications and if you have been working in the same discipline, then that speaks for itself, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but then we need to choose the right occupation from the list of occupations. There are three lists. There is a medium term list, medium to long term list, short term list, and regional list.
Can you elaborate on
Based
that?
on
What do they
which
mean?
list, based on which list your occupation is in, you are eligible for one of the one or more of the three different subclasses: 189, 190, and 491. Yeah. So today we're not going to discuss about all those different subclasses, right? We're going to talk about selecting the right occupation and why. So a person comes to you and says, well, I am a software engineer, but I have no experience. Do I qualify for PR? What do you think without knowing the Australian immigration rules? You will think, yeah, he has got 1 year of experience. He should qualify, right?
Correct?
Yeah. So here is the thing. One needs to have a positive skills assessment in his occupation. And to get a positive skills assessment, the skills assessment has to be done by the respective professional body. So for a software engineer, it is Australian Computer Society. Australian Computer Society, they have their own rules. And the rule is, if you are not in Australia, if you're not studied in Australia, if you have studied IT, a major in IT, and your experience is related to your education, then you need at least 2 years of experience. So if this guy has 1 year of experience, then he's not eligible. The rule also says that if you have a bachelor's degree, bachelor's or higher, in a discipline which is minor in IT, then you need 4 years. What is minor in IT? For example, electronics and telecommunication engineering could be a minor in IT.
Okay.
They also say that if you have studied non-IT, then you need 6 years. What is non-IT? Bachelor of Commerce. And they say that if you have not studied anything, you need 8 years of experience. So if someone says, I'm a software engineer, and then the first thing I ask, what did you study? You will say, oh, I studied engineering. A lot of people do not even say which engineering.
Hmm.
That's why I have a form which says, please specify which engineering. That is very important. Is it civil engineering? Is it mechanical? Is it mechatronics? All this is so important. Now, if someone has studied engineering, 4 years of engineering, and he is a software engineer, and if he has studied 4 years of computer engineering, then he will still be eligible to get himself assessed not by Australian Computer Society, but by Engineers Australia, who look at the qualification only. So he can potentially apply for engineering professional NEC or professional engineer NEC. NEC means not elsewhere classified.
What does that mean?
That means there is no other occupation on the list that clearly matches your background and experience. So, someone who has studied engineering is working as a software engineer could potentially choose this because there is no other engineering occupation that fits his profile. If he chooses to say he's an engineer, traditional engineer. So, Engineers Australia has a list of occupations. Software engineer is not on their list. Software engineer comes under Australian Computer Society. Now, another important aspect of choosing the right occupation, for example, this particular occupation is if you choose professional engineer NEC, 2 years will not be deducted from your occupation. Sorry, from your experience, which means you might potentially get more points. 2 or 4 or 6 years will not be deducted. So you can claim more points for your experience. That is number A. B, there might be a lesser queue. Many of the applicants, they are not aware of these occupations, NEC occupations. They'll see, oh, what is this NEC? So they'll not apply. So what is the impact? The queue is small. Just imagine you arrive at an airport, you landed from a flight. There are all these servers at the counter, immigration and customs. 6 of them have long queues. The 7th one is empty. What did you think? You'll think probably the 7th one. And let's assume that doesn't have a label, huh?
Okay.
Or some obscure label. You will think, okay, I'm not going to go there because I think there is something not right. But if someone is smart, they will go there. They'll go through the immigration faster. So if you choose an occupation like this, which is on the list, not many people are aware of it. The queue size is smaller, and you might potentially move out faster, get your PR faster. Okay, now there's another thing I wanted to highlight, and that is the process of immigration is like a three-legged stool. One leg is shorter, there is no balance. So what are the 3 legs? It's like project management methodology, if three-legged stool, that example or that synonym is used in project management classes. Now, what are the 3 legs? The first one is first one I'll say strategy. So choice of occupation is a strategy. The second one is your background, how smart you are. Can you score higher in English? How many points can you gather? And the third one is an element of luck. How lucky can you be? So if you have all these 3 right, and luck is also, sometimes luck can be manipulated.
When you say luck, what do you exactly mean by that? How does that factor into my application?
You need to probably look at the trend, look at the past behavior, and the trend of invitations. Choose your timing in such a way that you get lucky. That's what I meant. Luck sometimes can be forecasted. There's also an element of not knowing certain things, element of what is the term? Unknown.
Okay.
So that is luck. Now, going back to the topic of choosing the right occupation, VETASSESS occupations are very important.
What is VETASSESS? Can we start with that?
Yeah, VETASSESS is Vocational Education Training and Assessment. This is for occupations that do not have any designated professional body. For example, real estate agents, marketing specialists, management consultants, um, investment, financial investment advisors, bank managers,
So
information
all these
professionals, all
occupants
these.
would not be on any of these skilled occupation lists, short term, medium term, or long term.
No, they will be on the occupation list, but they are not governed by any particular professional body. For example, IT is governed by Australian Computer Society. Engineers are governed by Engineers Australia. Teachers by AITSL. Accountants by CPA or IPA or CANZ, and so on. Architects by ASCA. Marine professionals by AMSA. So there are all these professional bodies. But what is the professional body for real estate agents? No, there's no such designated professional body. So all these other, I'll say other within quotes, are assessed by VETASSESS.
So how does VETASSESS assess me?
So VETASSESS will classify occupations into four groups: A, B, C, and D. Occupation groups A and B require a bachelor's degree or higher. C requires a diploma, and D are trades. Okay,
Tradies.
trades. Yeah. Now A and B, occupation A, group A and group B. The difference is that occupations on group A must have experience that is related to education and must have at least 1 year of experience. Example, statistician, mathematician.
Within the same discipline.
Yeah, so a statistician is someone, if someone is working as a statistician, must have a bachelor's or a master's in statistics. Otherwise, they are not eligible. A Bachelor of Commerce working as a statistician is not eligible, never eligible.
Okay.
Group B occupations, if someone is working in an occupation which is related to their education background, then 1 year is needed. If it is not related, then 3 years is needed. So what it means is that you may not have your education in the related discipline, you will still be eligible. What is an example? Marketing specialist. A marketing specialist, if has an MBA, if that person has an MBA in marketing, then only 1 year of experience is needed. But if that person has a Bachelor of Commerce or Bachelor of Science, then 3 years is needed. So that is Group B. Similarly, there is Group C. Group C is diploma.
So what is the requirement for that? How many years of experience do you need?
If your experience is related to your education, you need 1 year. If it is not related, then you need 2 years instead of 3 years. Generally, I mean, for every occupation, the rules are different. For generally, that is the case.
So if someone does lodge an EOI and they don't pick the right occupation and their application is rejected, can they lodge in another EOI and correct that? Is there a certain time frame that they have to wait?
One cannot lodge an EOI until he has a skills assessment. So the question is not correct in the first place. So one needs to have a skills assessment and must have an English score. These two are mandatory criteria for lodging an expression of interest. So if he doesn't lodge. If he has a negative assessment, then he may be able to lodge another assessment or ask for an evaluation by providing further details. Certain occupations are very, what do I say? It's very difficult, quite challenging, hazy. I'll give an example. Corporate services manager. A corporate services manager, if you look at ANSCO, it says Plan, organize, direct, control, and coordinate the overall administration of an organization. Prima facie, you'll think, oh, it's not a big deal. It's quite easy. Maybe it's a secretary or an office manager. No, it's not. It's not as simple as that. This one has several. I had so many rejections in the past. I'm very careful, and I ask them to do, because I cannot be an expert of all the occupations. I can only relay what the respective bodies want, and I can only give samples. And then there are guidelines. It says what that person must do. So if there is a rejection, there is an opportunity to apply for re-evaluation by providing further details or clarifying the tasks. And it has happened. In most cases, it has been successful eventually.
So when it eventually does go to reassessment, how long does it take for them to resolve it? Is it depend on how complicated the case is?
No, it's not about complication. I think, now, how do you define complication, right? So it's more about the number of people in the queue. So once it goes for re-evaluation, it'll not be the same person who will look at it. It'll be another person who will check the supporting documents and then make a decision.
Is it easy to make your case and persuade the person who's assessing your application?
Certain occupations are very easy. If someone says I am an HR or a recruitment person, you look at the duties and say, yes, you are a recruitment person. If someone says, I am a corporate services manager, we don't hear of such roles. Then it becomes a little bit of a challenge. And a corporate services manager will come and say, no, I'm a marketing person. I say, no, you are not. Because you cannot really cook up and say, this is what I am. You need to be doing what you say you are. And you need to justify that through duties statement signed by the employer.
Do you see these challenges also prop up in other industry sectors such as hospitality management, health?
Hospitality, well, there are a few occupations under hospitality. They, um, there's hotel manager. Hotel manager is pretty straightforward. It's a Group C occupation. It doesn't require a bachelor's degree. I had a few hotel managers. It's quite straightforward, not so hard. The other hospitality professions like chef and cook are assessed by Trades Recognition Australia, TRA. So that has a different assessment criteria. Usually with trades, it's a long process. If it's, for example, a chef from India, they will probably have to do some practical demonstration.
If someone has never had a culinary degree and they've been working as a chef, have you ever had a situation like that? How do they go about getting their skills assessed?
They have to get a certification. So the certification will be done by RPL provider, recognized per learning providers in Australia. They have their so they are outsourced by Trades Recognition Australia. They're approved by Trades Recognition Australia to assess and provide the certificates. So a chef who has been working, say, for 10 years and is a great chef, so they have to come and demonstrate what they're doing. I had a chef from one of the five-star hotels in India, had to go to Chennai. He had to do a full day demonstration of his extraordinary abilities. At the end of it, he got a certificate, which could be used, a certificate for. That is known as RPL, Recognized Prior Learning.
So if there's one piece of advice that you would like to give people who are listening when it comes to selecting their occupation, what would that be?
That would be more of doing your homework right, checking all the occupations that are there on the list of occupations, which is available on the Department of Home Affairs website, finding out once they shortlist a list of occupations, need to do a due diligence, check the number of queues, number of places available, what was the past trend, and then select carefully. Because some of these occupations, when they get the skills assessment done, a few years of experience will be removed before the points are counted.
Why is that?
Now, as I mentioned earlier, so VETASSESS, they require 1 year or 3 years. ACS requires 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. Requires means those number of years are assumed to be used up to attain the required level.
Ah, now I
So,
understand.
so if someone is a civil engineer and working in IT, the general guideline is that you have to work for 6 years before you are deemed skilled by the Department of Home Affairs.
In the IT profession.
Yeah, but not the Department of Home Affairs, by Australian Computer Society.
Okay, so you can have a degree in another discipline, but you can have an assessment in other occupation. Like I have a degree in civil engineering, but since I've been working in the IT industry for 6 years, I can still get my skill assessed by,
But no points.
but no points for
You
those.
can. But if you, in your case, if you have a civil engineering degree and you have been working in IT, I will say that IT is engineering because it involves design, and I'll get you assessed as engineering technologist.
Is it better to
So,
be assessed as an engineering technologist, engineering professional? Does that matter?
in your case, if you're a civil engineer, you can only be assessed as engineering technologist if you're working in IT.
But does that have any bearing on the outcome of your application?
Yeah, because then your 6 years of experience will be considered, and you will get 10 points. If you go to Australian Computer Society, you get 0 points for experience. That matters. There is a rule I wanted to probably mention, and for surplus 189, even though the skills assessment body will remove certain number of years, you can still go and claim those years because there has been a change in the regulations that says the case officer should consider ANSCO definition of the occupation and not 100% the opinion of the skills assessment body. So they will consider the opinion of the skills assessment body, and it was interesting to see that they use the term opinion rather than outcome. And in doing so, the skills assessment body says they are skilled at the required level. And the Department of Home Affairs guideline says you may not be needed to be at the required level. You just need to be skilled as per the ENSCO guidelines.
And this is only for 189?
Only for 189. Because the state governments, 190 and 491 are state nominated, the state governments will forbid you from claiming those years. I don't know why.
That information was very insightful, Amitava. Thank you for your time as always. It was lovely chatting with you. For those of you listening, thank you for your time and attention, and we'll see you next week. Yeah, goodbye.